My name is Vicenç Chamorro. You can see here. I'm from Spain, Barcelona. So sorry so much because my English is not my best skill. So probably I will do a lot of mistake. So sorry so much. So today I will speak about chatbots, AI, and all a concept that we have created in Sage. That is the concept of bot federation. It's a concept that we have created due to a problem, a scenario that we have in Sage about the number of products that we have, the number of countries where we have presence, and the number of language that we need to support. And I will show you how we have solved this problem, and probably you can take advantage of the knowledge that I will share with you. But first of all, let me a couple of minutes to introduce who we are, where we are, and what we do in the bots team in Sage. Only 2 minutes. It will be very, very quick. This is the team. We are a multidisciplinary team. We are ubicated, our base is in Barcelona, but we have people around the world. We work with people from here, people from Newcastle, people from London, US, France, Germany. If you have seen me, I'm here in the middle of the photo. I will be true. Not all these people is working in bots right now. They don't know, maybe in the future, I'm sure. But these people is doing also mobile apps for Sage. Because we are bots and mobile, we are part of the same team. That is, as I have said you, we are based in Barcelona. This is the okay, fantastic. This is where I work. This is a real photo done with my mobile. This is Barcelona. This is the beach of Barcelona. Yes, we have good weather, good life. It's Barcelona. It's the capital of Catalonia, Spain. We are part of Spain, and I recommend you that come to Barcelona. Now is the best moment to come. Yeah, fantastic. It's the weather now is fantastic. You come in summer, too much hot. No, don't come in summer, in August, September. Come now. It's fantastic. And what we do? Okay, this is what the rest of the Sage people think that we do. When you speak with someone in Sage and say, okay, I'm doing bots, all the people think that we are doing, I don't know, army machines, robots, complex robots, humanoids, and all this type of thing. But no, what we do is this. Okay, this. Don't worry. This is what we do. This is real. This is Peck. Peck is the chatbot that we have done in Sage for the last year, and I will introduce you at the end of the speech if we have time. Peck obviously is more friendly, I think, and I think that it's more intelligent than the other one. And only a couple of things about Peck. We have more than 20,000 users right now. This is the date of today. We have integration with, for now, 2 products, Sage 1 and Sage 50. These 2 products that we do in Sage in different countries and in different language. And as I have said, we have now teams in Spain, UK, South Africa, US, and Brazil. And we are speaking to have something here in Barcelona. And nothing else? Okay. Chatbot and AI, there are 2 concepts that maybe sometimes they work not together, but when they combine together, they are very powerful. We could say that the chatbot in a lot of companies, in Sage is a good example, has been the Trojan horse for the AI. It has been very easy to explain to the people inside Sage that we need to invest in AI because we need for chatbot, but also for the rest of the Sage product. So it's very easy to understand that if you are doing a chatbot and you need that the chatbot understand natural language, or you want to create complex systems about automations or prediction, you need AI, you need machine learning. So in a lot of companies like Sage, it has been very easy to explain this and that the company invests in AI. I think that probably all of you, because you are different people that I'm used to speak about, probably you know what is a chatbot, but I think that it could be interesting to review and that all of us speak the same. It's a software, so this is very important because some of the people think that a chatbot is something magical, and it's not. It's a software. The software program, as all the programs that we do, that use some techniques, some AI technologies in order to be more smarter. It's not necessary. You can create a chatbot at the beginning without any type of AI, but if you want that the user experience will be great, you need to do at least some type of natural language processor, and you need to add some type of technology associated with AI that will give to the user the sensation that they are speaking with something that is intelligent. So the second concept here that is important is that it's a software that uses AI, or if you want, you can use complex rules, and it's designed to simulate intelligent human conversation. is to simulate, because obviously to create some type of chatbot that has a complex, intelligent conversation, it's very, very complex. All of you probably know the typical Turing test that every year they do an event in order that who can pass this Turing test. But this is not the objective of the majority of the chatbot. The majority of the chatbot, what they want is to solve a problem that the user has in an intelligent way and using some type of technologies associated with AI. And the second characteristic of a chatbot, and it's the name that this type of software has, is that it's a chat. And the interaction with this type of software is done using messaging apps. More than messaging app, we can speak about that they use messaging channel. Obviously, we can speak about messengers like Skype, Kik, WeChat, all type of. WhatsApp is not here because officially WhatsApp doesn't support chatbots. Non-officially you can do it, but officially they don't support. Probably because it's part of Facebook and they have the strategy that in Messenger they have opened it, not in WhatsApp, but probably in the future. And also, we should add here different channels that are not from text. Maybe we can add channels like Alexa, Google Home, Siri, Cortana, that are channels that are managed by voice. But at the end, are managed by voice, but the objective of this channel is the same, is to maintain some type of conversation with the user. The second point is, okay, what is AI, what is machine learning? Probably all of you know. AI is a very generic concept that has been used in a lot of context, a lot of purpose, but we can summarize that it's all type of technology that can help us to create more smart software. And machine learning is an application of the artificial intelligence. Maybe it's the most used one, but you can use another techniques associated with AI, deep learning, or some other techniques. And machine learning is around the idea that giving access to the software, so to some type of data, they can learn and they can predict what will happen if we create another input that is not exactly the same input that we have used to train our model. But the important thing here is that, okay, we are speaking about chatbots, AI, machine learning, but it's so important, the chatbots. Are the chatbots and the messaging channel a real change in the software, in the paradigm of the development, in the software industry? I think that, yeah, we have had different change for the last 30 years. The first change probably, I think that the majority of you probably not, but in the mid of 80s, with the presence of the modern computer, we started to create complex systems, desktop system, but all of them focalized it to have a complex system in one computer, offline. Internet was something strange for the majority of us. So we create a lot of language, a lot of libraries, but all thinking that it was running in a computer, all in the client, no connectivity, and this was the paradigm that we have in the 80s. The first big change was due to the possibility that internet opened, and it was the web revolution. We changed the concept to have all offline to have all online, and we create and we evolve a lot of technology that now we are using, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the concept of to have a server outside our infrastructure, cloud provider, and all this type of technology. And we moved from a client side to a server side. All the information was in the server. We are not worried about if we lost information because all is in the cloud, and we can sync the information between different providers. Fantastic. And then appeared the smartphone era. The smartphones came at the beginning of the century, and we move again from the server side to the client side. We have an app, a native app with a lot of information in local because we want to work offline. Obviously, we have connectivity, but we also need to work offline, and we need to change again our development because we move from a desktop to a web, and from a web to a very small device. So we change completely the user interface that the user use. We add restrictions about the size of the screen. The user doesn't have a typical keyboard, but at the same time, we have a lot of advantage. We have access to camera, microphone, GPS, sensor. So it was a big change in the development paradigm. New language, new environment, new roles, and for in my opinion, and it's not my only opinion because it is from GapShop. GapShop is a very important company that do bots. We are moving again. We are moving again from a client side to a server side. We are moving from the complex user interface that we can have now in a mobile device to a more simple UI that is a messaging like WhatsApp or Messenger. That obviously you can interact, you can add photos, you can add videos, but the user interface compared with a local app is completely different, more easy. And we are changing the way that we will interact with the software for now. We open an app or we open a web browser and we type and we go to the menu and we select the option and we do a lot of action. We need to learn how this software works. Every time that I download an app, because I travel, I download the British Airways, I download the Iberia, Vueling, a lot of companies. Every company do a different user interface. I need to learn how I need to do my check-in, where I have my flight tickets. But in a messaging app, I have a dialogue. It's not necessary to learn how I'm going to interact with the system, because the system will understand me. I will use my natural language in order to say, okay, I want to do my check-in. And I can use the same sentence in a chatbot that I have for my Vueling ticket, the ticket that I have with British Airways. So this will be a big change, not more aligned with the messaging app, more aligned with the way that we are going to interact with the system. And if you are not convinced, obviously we can always go to Gartner. They earn a lot of money doing prediction, and they have predicted that at the end of the next year, this 1 year and a half, half of the business software will include conversational capabilities. Because when we speak about chatbots, we all think about that we are going to interact using Messenger, because it's a messaging app, but it's not necessary. We will have chat inside the software that we use every day. I don't know if you remember, but I think that 20 years ago we have Clippy. Clippy was a virtual assistant that Microsoft released with one of the versions of Microsoft Office. Nobody used it because it was very... but it was a first try in order to put some type of virtual assistant in the software, in order that you can try to interact with the software using your natural language. But now the technology gives the possibility to do this in a very complex way. And this is what the messaging and the chatbot and all the topics and all the technology associated with this topic will change the paradigm of the development. And now maybe the question is, okay, I know what is a chatbot, machine learning. Okay, I think that it's a great technology, but is the market, the user, are the software companies ready in order to adopt this technology? I think that it's very easy to answer. The answer obviously is yes. But if you need some information, this is a couple of graphs about the number of users, unique user that has the messaging apps. Now the messaging app, and it's from the last year, the first quarter of 16. The messaging apps now has more users than the social network app. That is more people are using WhatsApp, Messenger, I can remember all the Skype, WeChat, Telegram, Link, all these channels that the people that is using Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So it's incredible. And this is a graph from the last year, so probably now the gap will be bigger. And if you think, okay, it's fine, but how many users are using this type of app? Now we have more than 3 billion users, 3 billion unique users monthly. It's not a user that someday come, I do a chat, and I don't return to the app. People that use at least one time every month. I don't know if you can imagine 3 billion people. From a business point of view, it's amazing. Like every one of them put one euro, it's 3 billion euros. So it's and the user, I think that probably all of you, the majority of the people here is very young. So the interaction that you have with the system, with all the system, the first that you try that, okay, can I speak with someone using my WhatsApp, my Messenger, if not, you go to Twitter and you try to interact with this brand using Twitter. I have a problem with one of your products. And if not, you go to the email. I do more or less the same. I try to speak with someone first using some type of messaging. If not, I go to Twitter. If not, I go to email. And this is a tendency that the next generation, the new generations, every time more and more will use this new channel. because a chat, a web chat, a messaging app, it's a direct interaction with the brand, with the system. And the last question is, okay, the market is ready, the user is ready, and the software company, are the big one, the big player, aligned with this tendency? The answer is yes. I think that probably you have seen that Microsoft has released Microsoft Bot Framework last year or 1 year and a half ago. Apple has a lot of things about chatbots in e-message and more than they will release in the coming month. Amazon, they have incredible platforms in order to do chatbots. I think that they released recently Lex, that is a system that is very interesting to do NLP. Also, they have Alexa, Twitter, Facebook, and here you have all the big players, IBM, Google, all the big players has put a lot of effort and money in order to create the systems and the service in order to give you the tools to create your own chatbot, your own NLP, your own machine learning system, and so on. Okay, so right now, because we don't have a lot of time, we can summarize that we have been speaking about what is a chatbot, what is machine learning, the market is ready, the software companies give us all the tools that we need in order to put this in place, and now what? If I want to do a chatbot, what are the questions that I need to have in mind in order to say, okay, I start to develop, I don't know what an SDK and I can start to develop, or what are the topics that I need to have in mind? So I have tried to summarize in 7 topics. Channel, this is very important. Not all the channels are the same. It's not the same to release a bot for Messenger that for maybe Slack. The people who use these channels are very different, and the capacities of this channel are completely different, because maybe you are releasing something in Messenger that is for everybody and you want to release something in Skype for business, oriented more for the business. So it's very important to think about the channel, or if you want to release something that is multi-channel, think about what is the capabilities that you will use, because maybe something that you want to do in some channel is not compatible in other channel. It's the same problem that we had at the beginning of the web development, that the capabilities of Internet Explorer, Chrome, Mozilla, Opera was very, very different. The second point is the framework. Obviously, you can start from scratch. I don't recommend it. It's very, very complicated, because if you want to do something multi-channel, it's a nightmare in order to that you need to learn the API that every one of these channels has. Obviously, you have some type of wrappers and you have libraries and you can use that, but it's up to you. But for me, it's a nightmare, because if you want to do something that do a lot of things and you need to invest a lot of time in order to do the interaction with the channel, it can be a lot of effort without any feedback. The third point is the NLP. This obviously can be inside AI service, because NLP is an AI service, but it's maybe the most important AI service, or the first one that you need to think about to integrate with your system. NLP is natural language processing. Is the technology that you can use in order that your bot understand what the user is saying. So it's completely different the way that you program when the user says something. And for instance, imagine that you want to do a check-in in a flight company. I don't remember if I need to put in the chat, I want to do the check-in, or please, I want to do my check-in. So I can interact with the system using a lot of different ways for the same action, but very different ways. Probably someone that is English native will use a very different vocabulary than the people that, like me, we are not English. So probably we will interact in a different way, but with this type of engine, we can train it in order that every day are more intelligent, and they can learn about the mistakes that they have done previously, in order that you say, okay, when the user say this, it's because he wants to do check-in. So when you train and retrain, maybe in 2, 3, 4 weeks, depending on the volume that you can have a very intelligent system. Obviously, all type of AI service. This is only one, but you have 10 of AI services now that has been released by the big companies, like voice recognition, image recognition, sentiment analysis, OCRs, a lot of service. So have a look over this, because it's very interesting to integrate with your chatbot. The infrastructure, obviously, this is an important point. Analytics. It's not the same the analytics that you have to have in a bot, that the analytics that you have in a web or in an app. It's completely different. You can find different solutions in the market, but be careful because not all of them has the indicator that really you need in order to have some type of feedback about how the users are interacting with your bot. And the bot directory. We don't have now a store like App Store, Google Store, Google Play, or where you can go and search for a bot. The bots are not in the store. It's not a software that you need to download in your app or in your mobile. It's something that you can find in Messenger, in Skype, in the channel that you are using. So some of the channels, if you select some of the channels, it's important that you know how you can promote your bot, because if nobody knows you, nobody will use you. Okay? And this is the most important one, because at the end, when you speak with a chatbot, this is a must. You need to have analytics, internal information. You need to have a very good infrastructure, NLP, because if you don't have NLP, nobody will use you. But the most important one is that what is the personality of the bot that you are going to do? It will be funny, it will be serious, it will be angry, it will be, I don't know, stupid, depending. It will be a bot that will change the personality depending of some type of sentiment analysis that they will do with the conversation that you have with it. But it's very important that if you define a personality, you maintain this personality in the bot, like a person. So it's like a branding. If you have, or in my case, we work for a brand like Sage, it's important that the personality of the chatbot goes aligned with the branding image that we want to show to the world. Because if you are a very, I don't know, serious company, you cannot do a very funny chatbot because it's not aligned your company with the branding image with the personality of the bot. So this is something that sometimes we don't put attention, we don't invest time, and it's very, very important. I have created very big quick consideration about some of the points, so I will do a quick review of some of them. Channels, multi-channel or single channel. If we want to do something independent of this multi-channel or single channel, be careful with the specific characteristic of this channel. This point is very, very important. If you work through a channel, what is the data privacy of this channel? Obviously, you do a bot only that do jokes, no, it's not a problem. But if you think to do some type of business through a chatbot, maybe moving confidential information or health data, or I don't know, any type of information that can be protected by some type of law associated with data privacy, be careful, because if you are in a channel, you don't control the channel. If you move this information through Messenger, you need to be careful that the information that you are moving through Messenger is protected and the data privacy that they have is aligned with your data privacy requirement. So be careful with this point. This is why some of the big companies, they are creating a specific channel for business in order that the information that they move through the channel is encrypted, is protected, and nobody can see the information that you are moving through. And obviously the terms and conditions of the channel. The framework, the same. Obviously, this is like other frameworks, if it's open source or not, if the community that we have in the community, if it's open source, the community that we have is active or not. So this is very, very important. The NLP, again, think about if you want to have an NLP multi-language or not. In our case, in Sage, we need to speak different language, so we need that the engine has the possibility to learn the same model in different language. Training possibilities, option, versioning, retraining, AI is the same. And analytics is the same. In analytics, one of the problems that they have now is the privacy of the information. If you want to have a complete analytic information, and all of them, for instance, they give you information about the sentiment of the user when they speak with your chatbot. In order that they can have this information, they need to have access to all the message that you have with your user. So be careful, because if imagine a situation that you have a chatbot in Messenger connected with some tool that store all the message, so you have all the information that the user has shared with you in different places that you don't control. So be careful in order to do this type of movement of information between different tools. And these are a landscape that you can find in internet. You have tens of these landscapes in internet. You have hundreds of tools, but the most important is use the one aligned with your necessity. You can find whatever you need but it's important to have in mind what are our necessities prior to go to one of these tools and start to use it. And now, I think that is the most interesting part is, okay, I want to do a chatbot, or a bot, or whatever the way that you want to say it. I want to do one bot, two bots, three bots, multiple bots, depending on the requirement that we have. In our case, for instance, if you remember at the beginning, Peg, for now, is integrated with two products, three countries, two language, but we are working with different teams in different countries in order to open it with more products, more language, more countries. So if you imagine, we can have different scenarios. The first one is probably the first one that you have when you start to do a bot. You have one service, or you want to do something in only one language, because probably you will start with English, and in your case in Polish, and probably you can have presence in multiple countries, or you will open it to all the people that all the countries. It's not a problem. So you have one, you have one bot. It's fantastic. The life is easy. The user go from some type of bot discovery service, he find the bot, and he start to speak with it. No problem. Fantastic. You have a brand. In this case, this is our bot, Peg. The user start. You have connected with your backend or with your system, and it works. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, we can have a second scenario that, okay, we have two distinct services, but the same problem, one language, multiple countries, no problem. We have two bots. Two bots is a number that you can manage, you can release, you can have one team per bot, or maybe a team that manage the two bots, fine. The user here, in this case, the user needs to select what is the bot that he wants to use in order to start to interact with you. I remember that for now, the bots, we don't have a store. So you cannot limit when the user search you that you want to segment the user, like, okay, this bot is only for Spain, this bot is only for UK. So for now, when you go to a bot directory, you can find bots around the world. And the user in this case search for our bot. In this case, he remembered that Peg was the bot that Sage has. He searched for Peg and he finds two Pegs. Okay, we in the description, and maybe we can have a different change in the name in order that they can know what is the bot that they want to use. But imagine this scenario that I mentioned at the beginning. We have multiple countries, multiple products, multiple language. So this is very simple for us, because Sage has presence in more countries, and we have more service per country. So imagine the scenario that we have 10 countries, 3 service per country, and okay, we say that only in English, only one language. This gives us the number of possible bots to 30. This is crazy. Sage is a very big company, but it's crazy. We cannot maintain 30 different development, or maybe the same development deployed 30 different ways with different change in the branding, in the name, in the description. It can be crazy. You can automate a lot of things, but it's crazy from a marketing point of view. It's crazy from a development and management point of view. It's a nightmare. So, and what can happen if the user go to a bot directory and search for our brand Peg, in this case, that he can find 30 bots. Perfect. And what is the bot that I need to use? I don't know. Because if I find Sage 50 US, Sage 50 Spain, Sage 50, I don't know, France, it's complicated. So the first approach that you can think is, okay, don't worry, I remove all the bots and I create one bot, one big bot, the model of all the bots that manage all the integration that they have. He speaks all the language that we have. He's deployed in all the countries that we have. So it's crazy, because you can have a very big development, or a lot of people working inside of it. Obviously, you can have different libraries, different teams working together, but it's crazy because you will have a very big bot, very complicated to manage. And we thought, okay, and what other possibilities we have? And we create the concept of inside Sage of bot federation. And what is the meaning of the bot federation? The bot federation is that, okay, we will have only one bot, because the user, when they go to some place here or in an other event, he will see Peg. If he go to some type of bot directory and he search for Sage or Peg, he will find only one bot. So it's fantastic. You don't need to decide anything from a user point of view. So, but what does federation mean? means that we have tens of subbots, hundreds of subbots, but they are bots. They are not libraries, or they are bots that are federated with the big one, but they are not public. They are private. So when the users start to chat with our bot, it's like a proxy. This bot, having in mind some type of context of the user, maybe the country, maybe the product, depending of the strategy that you will have or you want to have, maybe the language, maybe if he comes from here or from an advertisement, or he comes from a publicity that I have sent in an event, depending of the source, depending of the, if he has clicked an icon that I have in a product, I don't know, depending of the source, language, product, I can generate some type of filter in order to say, okay, this user needs to speak with the bot number 4 or number 1, or with more than one. And the other thing that we gain with this approach is that all the messages come from the same bot. So from a management point of view and from a development point of view, we have one team that manages this infrastructure, one team that manages all the common service that this bot has, and we can have different teams working, everyone in one of these bots, because at the end, every one of these bots is a bot, it's a real bot, but it has not a public endpoint. He only needs to connect with the big one. So in this case, imagine the situation that the user wants to speak with some of the bots. We detect that he comes from France, and we only have one subbot in France, so we show this bot directly to the user, and the user has the feeling that he's speaking directly with the bot that he needs, because it's connected with the product that he has. The benefits are a lot, but we can summarize in this point: remove the doubts of the user about which bot to use, better user experience, maximize the branding marketing strategies, easy to release, reinforce the team's collaboration, all works in the same bot and not have the feeling that they are working on the same bot, but at the same time they are independent, they can work at different velocities, facilitate the use of common service, and facilitate the work distribution and minimizing the risk. These are a summary of the tools that we have used, and this is more or less a very high level architecture of what we have done. This is another point very, very important, is that the proxy bot, that we say the proxy bot is a big one. We can have different sub-bots, but all of them, when you say Luis, if you don't know, Luis is the NLP engine that Microsoft has. Every one of them has different NLP engine. So this is very, very important, because the NLP, if you don't know, are very aligned with the domain of your business. So it's not the same to train one of these engines in an accounting approach, that is what we do in Sage, that if you train the NLP, it may be to explain a joke, because the dialogue that you are going to have with the user is very, very different. So the Luis model, the NLP that you need to train, are very close to the domain that you are going to use in your bot. And the same for the dialogues. Maybe in some type of bot you can have a dialogue like joke is explain me a joke, and the bot will answer you with a joke. And maybe in another context, joke, it's like you are playing cards, I don't know, and it's another concept. So you can have the same dialogue in different contexts, and the meaning is completely different. So every team, they can work in their bot, they work in all the things that they need in their bot, in a dialogue, in the NLP engine, and at the end of the process, they only need to connect to the proxy. And with the routing strategy that we can have, we can say, okay, this bot is only for French guy, so when the user starts to speak with them, with the proxy bot, we will redirect the user to the right bot. Obviously, we have a layer of common service. We have a very interesting layer that we started to create 1 year ago, more or less. It's a smart service middleware. It's a layer that with all the smart service that we are generating in Sage, we are creating using microservice approach, a lot of service about automation, categorization, image recognition. So all this type of infrastructure we are creating internally in Sage, and we are following a microservice approach. And this, I don't know if you have experience in develop bots or you have experience in Microsoft Bot Framework, but this, the resolution is so good. Okay. At the end, this Node.js, no Microsoft Bot Framework, you can select the C# or Node.js. We have chosen in this case Node.js, and at the end, it's as easy as every bot, every federated bot is a directory here. You can see bot 1, bot 2. So this is the proxy bot, and at the end, when we do the merge of the code in different GitHub repos, we convert this repo in a directory here. It's as easy as this. So the team that is developing a new bot, he only have to be worried about his bot. It's a completely independent bot, so when they work, they don't need the rest of the infrastructure. They work only in this part. They develop the bot, they train the model, they train the NLP, they create the dialogues, and when the system merge the different repos that we have, it's only to create a directory here, copying all the code that they have done, and it's not necessary to do anything else. The second point is, when we, I don't know if you know, but in Microsoft Bot Framework, you need a couple of things in order that you connect your bot with the connector that they create. You need to create the connector and you need to create the bot. So from a bot proxy, we haven't done anything. So we create the connector, we connect this connector with our bot, and nothing else. What we need to do is, from the bot proxy point of view, is we need to register that we have, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 subbots. We say subbots. The concept of a subbot or bot federated is the same. So as you can see here, it's very simple. What we do is we go to the directory, we search all the directories that we have inside /bots, and for every directory that we find, we try to register the bot in the global bot. You will see that here we can define, and I will show you after this, we can define if we want that this bot run as a library or a subbot, is the same, the concept. If we want that the bot run as an independent bot, because maybe in some moments of QA or at some points of the development process we need to test all together, but at the same time we need to test in an independent way. And we define here, so this, when we define that the bot will run as a library, and here what we are doing is, okay, but I want that this bot also can run as an independent bot. This is the keys that manage these topics. And this is the code of the subbot. So from a subbot point of view, it's as easy as to define the module and to have some method that we need that they have in order that we can invoke when we receive a request from the proxy to route the user to this one. So you only need to have an start function, and here, I don't know if you see it, but what you need to do is to register all the dialogue that you want to have in your bot, and nothing else. This is what is necessary to do from an external point of view. So you only need to create a subbot, register the subbot in the parent, decide if you want that this subbot is a library, an independent bot, or both at the same time, and nothing else. So I will show you how easy it is. If I can, sorry. Okay, thank you. This is the code. This is the same code that I have shown you. Here I have my bots, bot 1, bot 2. So I want to create a new bot that is connected with this infrastructure. I copy this one, for instance. I will show you now. Name. Comes a void tree. Okay, so the only thing that I need to do, I have copied. Imagine that you have here a template. It's like a template, this one. I come here, I will change the name. This is hard-coded, but you can use something more dynamic if you want. Welcome message 3, for instance, in order that we can differentiate the different bots. I go here, okay, this I save. And here I define, these are the two important keys that I have. Is where I define, I'm defining the bot 3, and I say if I want that it works as an independent bot or as a library. I say, okay, this is a library, I don't want that this has it works as an independent bot. And here I will create here, and I will show you now. This is when a new team in Sage comes. Okay, I want to create my own bot. Okay, download the code, do these actions, copy the template that we have in Sage, change a couple of items, and you don't need to do anything else. And I will try to okay. If you don't know it, this is a bot framework emulator. It's like an emulator of the bot that you can use, and that is from Microsoft. But you can test directly if you want in Messenger, Skype, or in the channel that you want. But it's very easy because you have, in order to know what are the messages that are in and out. It's very easy. So this is my bot. I'm in the proxy bot. So I'm speaking with the proxy bot. This onboarding message that you can put here, all the information that you want, is something that is in the proxy. It's managed by the proxy. So okay, imagine that in this case I have created a list of selection, but you can, this is the context. So you can define, okay, in this case I have put this in order that I can select, but you can choose not to show anything to the user, and with the content that you have with the user, you can decide if you want to show only some bots or another bot. Okay, I have selected UK. I'm in the proxy bot also. So now the proxy bot, what I have done is dynamically, in theory, I will see here my third bot. This is the default image, but these are the 3 bots that you have seen in my code, bot 1, 2, and 3. This is built dynamically, but now I'm in the bot proxy, so this is the routing or the context or the filter. Here you can do whatever you want. You can decide. For now I'm showing all the bots that we have, but here, if I imagine that if I select United States, I decide that for United States I only want 1 bot, or I don't want to show any country directly, having in mind that if the user, I detect that he's speaking in English because I have some service associated with the language detector, I show only the bot that speaks in English. Or this is something that you can decide, is whatever you want, whatever information that you can recover from the user or from the channel. Maybe you want that in one channel you show some bot, and in another channel you want to show another bot. It's up to you. And imagine that I select my bot 1. This welcome message comes from the bot 1. I'm now in the context of bot 1. This is very important because now all the interaction that I'm going to do is managed by the bot 1. Obviously I have the bot proxy and all the message goes through the bot proxy and I can do whatever I want, but all the conversation is managed by the bot 1, and bot 2 and bot 3, they don't know anything about the conversation that you are having with the user. And I can have the same dialogue. The dialogue is the way that, for instance, if I say hi, this is a dialogue, and the bot, okay, I'm the bot 1, and my parent is proxy. I'm gonna say, okay, I go back, I can go back to the parent, I choose the second one, and if I say hi, the same dialogue, the same message, is the bot 2 who is answering me. And the bot 1 doesn't know anything about what is the dialogue that you are having with the bot 1, with the bot 2 in this case. So this is very powerful because at the end you can create a protection of the dialogues and a protection of the data that the user is managing with your bot, and the rest of code and the rest of the bots and the rest of the teams of your company, in this case, say, doesn't know what is happening with the conversation. Also, I can go back and I can choose the one that the one that we have created. So this is the concept of bot federation. The concept of bot federation is that you have multiple bots, but all running at the same time. You have a bot proxy, and you can decide what is the bot that you want to interact or you want to offer to the user, having in mind the context of the user. And this is it. I don't have any. If you have any question, doubts. No, important. I work in Sage. You can see Sage in every place. We are hiring developer, so you can find us, I think, that at the other side of the showroom. So if you want to work in a company like Sage, I think that it's very interesting because we are looking for people, young people who have a lot of. And in Barcelona, yes, also, yes. If you want to come to Barcelona, also we are looking for 2 Node.js developers to work in bots. But you need to work in Barcelona in this case, in front of the beach. We don't put the flag, we don't put that. It's fantastic. Eh? If you want to come to Barcelona and you are a Node.js developer, you have my Twitter, so if you want, you can speak with me. Anything else? If you have any doubt, I will be around here. So you want something? I'm here. Okay. Thank you.